kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the back car starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
From Daytona International Speedway, it's opening night here. It's opening night here in the INVets Truck Series, right here on Goat Locker Racing. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As you were with us last Monday for the opening night of the ARCA Series, tonight we're here to open the INVets Truck Series on Goat Locker Racing. Folks, Jordan Brockell and I are ready to get rocking and rolling, and I'm sure that you are too, as qualifying is just about halfway over. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, no matter where you may be. We want to appreciate all of you welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, because we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Jordan, once again, we get to sit side by side. We get to check some new racing out here on Sim Racing Media, as this is our maiden voyage with the INVets Truck Series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to this because, I mean, if last week was any indication of how these races are going to go, this one's going to be flat out amazing as well. I mean, we're going to see a little bit more stability out of these trucks than we would those ARCA cars. But, I mean, the intensity and the fierceness of everybody in this field is going to be the same. So I think we're going to see a couple more people push the limits a little bit more and go for some more crazier moves here with these trucks.
Yeah, these trucks are something special. And, you know, we see so much, night after night in this series. And quite frankly, man, I can't wait to get rolling here in the next few moments. I mean, you know, all things considered, we've got a lot going on in, of course, in the Goat Locker Racing Series overall, as, of course, we're going to pull up that beautiful beam footage of our schedule here. And, of course, that just turned that off. Let's bring that back up here for fun. There it goes. Of course, here we are opening tonight at Daytona. Next week we head to Charlotte, the Milwaukee Mile, Darlington, Dover, and Vegas, up through the beginning of March. And, you know, in trucks, it's one thing when you get to watch these in Xfinity or Cup Series cars, but in trucks, the way that these are set up, these things are going to stick to the asphalt. They're never going to come off the racetrack, all kinds of crazy, all kinds of sideways. And I can't wait to start to see, what each of these drivers is going to be able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone I'm going to look at here first, looking to kind of start his trek for maybe going back to back is Chance Taylor. Last year won the championship, no wins, but had 7 top 5s, 10 top 10s. And, that shows that consistency is key, but I'm sure that he would love to start off that, campaign for number 2 with a win. So I'm certainly going to be looking at him, and I'm really excited to watch these guys get going.
And, one of the things that we get to check out tonight is we're going to take, at least we're going to do our very best to get some of these new driver cams in their cars. We're going to see that in the upper right-hand corner of the screen after a little while as these drivers get ready to crawl into their race trucks. Going to be 50 blistering laps tonight here at Daytona. We're going to see all kinds of great drafting. We're going to see a lot of pack racing. That top line is where the speed is going to be locked up, and I can't wait to see what each of these drivers do as everybody starts to crawl into their race trucks. We start to see our outside pole sitter, Lucas Lyons. Mike George picks up the pole tonight. You'll have to forgive me, folks, as I came sliding in sideways. The real world tonight here in the Northeast, just outside of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. A little bit of a snowstorm, and of course, yours truly gets dragged to work on the day that you don't want to be going to work. Of course, I feel like every day is a day that you don't want to go to work.
Yeah, I mean, you could love your job and still not want to be drugged to work. Sometimes that bed is just too cozy, and you don't want to get up. I know I certainly didn't want to get up. I woke up at 8 o'clock and somehow woke up again at 10. Don't remember falling asleep that second time. But, Mike George, right back on the pole like he was last Monday night. Definitely looking to continue his run here in good fashion. Pole sitter. Had a win last week. Lucas Lyon's going to start on his outside there with Brett Bieber starting in third. He's originally the guy that won the inaugural race last season but it was at Talladega. But, you know, Daytona, Talladega, we see a lot of similarities there. So look for him to be fast here tonight, too. Andrew Player, going to be to his outside. In row number 3 is going to be Christopher Morris Jr., Chance Taylor. In 7th and 8th, going to be Michael McCarthy and Jake Sylvia. Andrew Kurtz and Brandon Wallace going to start in row number 5. Row number 6 going to be Travis Bieber and Matthew Hott. In row number 7 is going to be Ricky Sisk Jr. and James Kaufman, followed by Scott Gilroy and Thomas Parker. Maxwell Shade and Alex McQueen going to be in number 17th and 18th position here. Jamie Libke, Mark Cofield going to be starting in row number 10.
In row number 11, we're going to be featuring Cameron Wesenberg alongside of Matt Knights, while Jeremiah Holt and Jeremy Perkins hold things down in row number 12. Colton Lanford and Kevin Price going to be starting 25th and 26th, while Mark Holofield and Sean Pope McCarthy are going to be in row 14. Row 15 features Charles Abert and Craig Bonrager, while Big Duke and Keith Haney are going to be in row 16. Casey Jones and David Sharon in 33rd and 34th, while Dave Sharon and Doug Ellison are going to be running in 35th and 36th. As it's going to be 36 drivers tonight taking the green flag. We appreciate everybody tuning in once again, as, of course, Lucas Lyon's going to be on the inside pole, coming down the backstretch toward turn number 3. And, you know, these drivers have waited all offseason to get rocking and rolling here as they get past our backstretch camera and come into turn number 3. You know, Jordan, it never fails to excite me when we come to Daytona. No matter how many Daytona races we do every year, I think this is just the most exciting racetrack on the circuit.
Absolutely, and it's one of those ones that, while it may be difficult because of the, you know, you have so many cars within a small amount of time within each other, it always has amazing racing, and it's honestly one of the easier tracks to you know, kind of get involved with. It's not a lot of technicality; it's more of just skill in avoiding, you know, the calamity. So, I mean, everyone gets into these races. They love these. We have leagues that are even centered around this kind of track.
As the iRacing.com pace truck has its lights out, it makes the hard left turn down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, and off we go in season number 2 of the INVets Truck Series right here on Sim Racing Media. Lucas Lyons already side by side with Mike George, as it looks like George gave a squirt past here on the low side, as those low cars are going to get the edge early on in the run until the high side gets up to full speed.
Yeah, and we see it just about every week, you know, even in, you know, IRL, that outside line has that start where it kind of lags off, but once it gets rolling, I mean, you're going to see 2, 3 cars, maybe even 4, fly past that front car. And it's always a wonder if that guy's going to make that dive down into the inside or if he's just going to hang out on the outside.
As we finish up lap number 1, it looks like lap 1's lead going to be given to Mike George. As we now head on down the backstretch, or down the front stretch, we take a look back here at James Kaufman here in the 10 truck. And Kaufman here holding himself nice and steady for the time being. Of course, 10 being Roman numeraled here on that peach-colored truck. I kind of like that with the Save 22 on the left rear quarter panel. A nice clean start for these drivers as we get rolling here. Watch the deuce, though. That's Maxwell Shade starting to creep up from Martinsburg, West Virginia, owner of 9 West Hair Studio. And they also sell used appliances. Give them a call. Max says yes. Taking a look at Christopher Morris Jr. in the 19. He's already worked himself just here into 5th position in the auto owner's Toyota Tundra. And he's going to be side by side with Chance Taylor in that Chevrolet Silverado. Not a whole lot of movement 1st through 15th right now. The only drivers making some positive moves is Alex McQueen and Mark Cofield in the 97. And below the line goes Maxwell Shade, as it looks like Shade maybe trying to get out of the way, down 9 spots. Whoa! As we go on board here Maxwell
certainly,
Shane holding on like crazy. My goodness.
Yeah, certainly. Most of the time, that's where I end up, just because I want to try to avoid the calamity. But running that line can be a little tricky sometimes. You come off the corner, get a little bit of a arrow loose coming out of the corner, and trying to once you lose any kind of momentum here, you might as well just hang on for a ride and hope that no one runs you over.
Little disconnect here just in front of the deuced. Not sure if that's the 36 or the 4, but definitely concerning. Here's the thing. In super speedway racing, you're already on the edge of the seat. And then you have it must be the 30. Oh, there's the 36. Reappeared on the high side. That's more frustrating than anything when you're on a super speedway. You're drafting with someone, and then all of a sudden, it seems like they disappear because they have a connection issue. And that is absolutely the most frustrating thing, because you don't know where they're going to reappear, and you don't want to be in their way when they come back onto the track.
Especially if you're right on that rear bumper of them and you're trying to give them that push. When you're behind a truck, you're feathering the throttle, trying to just stay right in that same exact spot all the way around the track. Once they disappear, you don't know the throttle input that you need to put in, so you could end up being basically right underneath them when they decide to reconnect.
Of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Save 22 Vet. They're a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. They support those who have served our nation and communities by listening to their stories and providing unwavering support, ensuring they are never alone or forgotten. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. We encourage you all to check out Save 22 online as we work lap number 6 here. Mike George, still your race leader. Looks like basically 1 through 9, now 10 and 11, have not changed positions. Now back through 15 as everybody just trying to feel each other out. At a super speedway, we talk about this all the time. Patience is more important than anything in the super speedway. Especially because, you want to try to make headway. You want to try to get through this race. And you of course want to be able to charge to the front. But until everybody wears those tires in, gets themselves nice and comfortable, there's no reason to charge like crazy. And, of course, we've also got a different setup tonight in the trucks. And, that setup comes courtesy of the McConey Setup Shop and Entertainment, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the sponsor of the McConey Setup Shop C-Fix series on iRacing. They're the premier name in iRacing setup services and trusted by virtual and real-world professionals to get the job done. They're proud to continue to help thousands of iRacers hit the track with confidence. Run at the front with our setups and learn from our setup guides and coaching options. Look good in victory lane with their paint schemes. Bring your league and special events to life with their broadcasting as well. Or trust our professionals for anything iRacing related to tackle. At McConey Setup Shops, there are setups, but your victories. And they, of course, provide the setups for both these Premier Series, the Trucks and Cup, and also they do broadcast the Next Gen Series here. And, of course, we want to tip our cap to our friends over at McConey Setup Shop. I was in on the ground floor with them a very long time ago. It feels like a generation ago now.
Yeah, I've been around Greg a handful of times, and a wonderful group that he's put together for that setup shop.
Eight laps in the books. Mike George still your race leader. Brett Bieber now moving up into P2 in the 808 Wheaties Chevrolet Silverado. You know what? I was in the grocery store the other day, forgot to look and see who's on the cover on the box of Wheaties. Is that still a thing? I feel like we care
honestly,
more about.
I don't have a clue. If I'm going to be honest right here, Wheaties is probably the one cereal that I've never actually had any of, and I don't know why. I love cereal, but I feel like I always just pass over.
Because Wheaties is like, it tastes like the cardboard it comes in. I'm not a fan. But, I feel like, and this is just something that, I've come across recently, but I feel like we care more about who's on the cover of Madden than we do who's on the box of Wheaties.
Yeah,
I'm not,
you know, like
I don't think I'm wrong.
no, not at all. And it's funny because I know that there is a ton of Wheaties boxes in the basement of a grandmother's house, and it's like a tons of different things. I mean, there's Cal Ripken, you know, being from Maryland, you know, we always see Cal Ripken in the Orioles. But then from Jeff Gordon to Dale Senior to random Tony Stewart ones, and then all the Olympic ones, and I feel like more boxes of cereal need to adopt that. I would definitely spend way too much money on cereal just to have a box.
That's the truth. You know, a lot of things have come to light recently. We'll get into some of that late, you know, as we get deeper into the race here tonight. However, I do want to thank everybody for tuning into the YouTube.com live chat. Jamie Libke saying vroom vroom, G saying vroom vroom. And then here we are, Pro Mod Studios. We are live. As looks like the Mystic Whisperer saying good evening, everyone. Good luck, drivers. Why do I not see our feed spinning? It says we're in an excellent connection. I hope we're not about to lose cable here in Philadelphia. That'd be just the side of horrific.
Absolutely. I do want to point out, this is my favorite comment. Remember, drivers, one stop is off limits this time.
Yes. TJ saying, let's go Operation Valor. Nice moving Libkey. And Ray Ellingson, just to answer your question, it is 36 drivers taking the green flag tonight.
You see George still fighting on that inside, and, you know, I mean, what better way to start a season than to go back-to-back at Daytona, you know, in two different series, as he does lose that lead to Morris there. You know, Morris kind of took that high line, moved it all the way up, and then kind of left that 17 of Lucas Lyons out there on his own. And we see that time and time again where the outside guy usually drops down in front of the leader, and, you know, you get a little bit of leading, but you burn more fuel. So it's one of those things that can really throw off a strategy, you know, being in that front position.
One of our big movers of the night so far, Keith Haney, running in 20th position, started back in 32nd, now up to 13th. As we start to see some of these drivers from the back make their way up through the ranks here. 22nd, Casey Jones started way back in 33rd. And we've already got a couple of drivers here down a lap as Jamie Perkins, Dave Sharon, Doug Ellingson, a couple of them down a lap, which is strange this early on. $14 laps in the books. I think we're going to see a lot of these drivers try to make this a one-stop race if they can get themselves to 25. Depending on fuel load and you know, who's going to be used as the fuel pig. Christopher Morris Jr. takes over atop the pile. Started in 5th, and now Morris runs at the lead.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into what you know, what I was saying about how he took over that top spot. Oh, we got a car upside down, I think. Not sure who it was. I saw purple in the air. Maybe Sean Pope McCaffrey. All I know is I saw something flying through the air, and we've got caution on the racetrack.
We're going to take a look here and see if this had anything to do with Craig Bontranger. Bontranger coming down here looks like may have some kind of damage there. Let's take a peek at the replay in the INVets machine. And looks like Bontranger may have actually may have had a connection issue. That could be a problem. And that may have been what you saw upside down.
Yeah, all I know is we went through that turn, and we saw we were looking towards the front and saw something flying. And
unfortunately, on a track like this, sometimes even the greatest of computers have trouble. Yeah, there's I think we're having connection issues here outside of Philly. I'm watching the internet start to bob up and down.
Yeah, certainly the snow is taking its toll on this northeastern corner and just above us to you there outside of Philly.
Wholesale pit stops, here they come. And you know what? As Chris Morse comes down, our race leader, let's see if we can get a hold of him. Let's see if I can find him here in the Discord. Of course not. Well, let's see who I can find over here and see if we can bring them up.
So it looks like Mike George is actually going to take over the lead here. Lions, Brett Bieber, Chance Taylor, Michael McCarthy going to be the top 5 here. And it's going to be an interesting thing here because, you know, we have this caution a little bit earlier than, you know, probably a lot of these guys were hoping for, just short of halfway. So may have to see if some of these guys, you know, if we do get a chance to stay green, they do a little bit of a short pit for just fuel because, you know, we don't really burn tires here. The only thing you want to look out for is mainly, you know, the lighter that fuel load gets, the lighter the rear end is. So you have to be a little bit more methodical in your inputs with your wheel, but it's going to be interesting.
Gonna get a hold of one of our drivers now on cam. Hey, buddy, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, buddy, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? I'm going to go with no. Now, if only I could kill my own camera. That'd be fun.
Seems as he's already locked in and ready to go back to this green flag. That's what it is.
As we do get ready to go back green, let's take a quick peek up here. It's going to be Mike George, Lucas Lyons, Brett Bieber, Michael McCarthy, Chance Taylor, Andy Kurtz, Andrew Player, Matthew Hott, Travis Bieber, and Christopher Morris Jr. That's going to be your top 10 as we get ready to rock and roll again. Well, isn't this special? I can't get the cameras. I can't get my camera to stop showing. Nobody needs to see me.
We're going to see that pace truck. He's going to come out of turn 4 here. And these guys are going to have to do a little bit of a slow roll to get there to that restart zone. But Mike George is going to be the head of the field there with that. You know, he's going to have the control here as that pace truck takes that hard left turn. Going to set these guys free.
And as we go green flag racing, now, folks, you're going to have to forgive me for not knowing who this driver is that I've got up here in our screen. Unfortunately, there's no label with his name. However, let's take a look here and see the focus that these drivers are going to have to put in tonight. I mean, you know, you have to understand, you are side by side, bumper to bumper with so many drivers. And, you know, as we go back deeper into the field, we see a couple of folks here. Now, that's the 32 and the 97 trying to work together, Mark Cofield and Cameron Wessenberg. They're going to be working together to try to work on the high side. They're going to have to wait for Alex McQueen to pick up the draft of Maxwell Shade from behind him, as we're going to go on board now with McQueen. But a lot of these drivers just kind of sitting here getting themselves comfortable, getting themselves settled in for the second stage here, essentially the second stage. Again, we apologize for the rumble, stumble, fumble, but dumb stuff happens all the time here. Welcome to the East Coast. My goodness, look at him rack.
Whoa. See that the three of McCarthy kind of bobble up towards that high line. Bieber a little bit close to Lyons there as well. Oh, big squirrel out of Lyons there on that top line.
As they fly on down the backstretch, these drivers now up to full speed as they're 194 coming into 3 right here. We see them rocket into 3. Check out the one truck of Jake Sylvia. Now, Sylvia down 3 positions, running in 11th right now for the time being. As we work lap number 19 of 50, want to thank everybody for tuning in. We thank you all for making us a part of your evening. As we have been clicking them off, one caution to speak of so far this evening. That's a pretty good time right there, my friend.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's going to pick up here. You see Lyons kind of flirting with that middle lane a little bit there. I missed if he maybe got a little bit squirrely, but you know, we're going to see some of these guys really going to try to find an opening that they can force open themselves by, you know, pushing through the middle or, you know, going to the outside and, you know, making the outside line the middle line. So it's going to be one of those things where we just got to, you know, hope that some of these guys keep a little bit of patience until it's that go time. I mean, it's kind of getting close to a move-up time, but, you know, we're going to see them get a little bit more intense as we get closer to the, you know, the halfway point here.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of drivers start to, you know, make a few moves in and around the racetrack. Let's take a look here at the 36 for the Mission 1 Ford F-150, and I'll tell you what. Now I'm looking here, the Mission 1 Esports F-150, riding on the high side. He's up 22 positions from where he had started tonight. You know what I mean? That's a guy who's quietly moving forward. We don't see a whole lot of aggression. We don't see a whole lot of big moves out of him. What we see right now is just a calculated driver working his way through the field, and that's the way that you need to do this here at Daytona International Speedway. Of course, Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank all of our fans for checking in with us tonight. And, of course, we also want to thank Above the Yellow Line. Of course, I got to be honest, without Above the Yellow Line, I wouldn't be here, as that's Taylor Kitchen who put me in contact with these folks here at Goat Locker. And Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen began as a podcast fueled by a passion for motorsports and a desire to build community. What started as a simple idea has grown into something far beyond what Taylor could have imagined. And through this journey, Taylor and her team have not only connected with passionate motorsports fans, but have also formed connections with several inspiring content creators united by their love for the sport. That passion and collaboration led to the creation of Above the Yellow Line Media, a dynamic team of motorsports content creators dedicated to producing motorsports content that's fresh, informative, and fun. At Above the Yellow Line Media, we cover everything you love about motorsports, from F1 and IndyCar to NASCAR, short tracks, and even virtual racing, as we are doing tonight. We celebrate the sport's rich history, explore its exciting future, and enjoy every moment in between. This is Motorsports Media, your way. So thank you once again to Above the Yellow Line. They're, of course, they broadcast the Goat Talk Live. Oh, my, look at this toward the back.
Yeah, and see, that's what I was saying, is we're going to start seeing some people just force their way through the middle and, you know, put some three-wide situations to find ways to move forward. I mean, like you said, we saw Keith, the 36 truck, he's up 20 spots from where he started, and, you know, you finding your way through in a methodical way is how you get things done around here. You know, you don't want to push too hard. You don't want to try to push anybody out of the way. So you just got to kind of find your way through it. We got caution once again on the racetrack on my end.
I see it now. We just have to find out what happened. Nothing registering on timing and scoring. This may have been a manual caution thrown by race control.
The only thing I am seeing is maybe check out the 78 machine of, say it says Big Duke.
Gonna pull this up quick and see if we can't find that. Of course, everything's shuffling around. There we go. Let's check out the 78 and see what may have... contact between the 78 and the 64. And there they go.
Oh, big buddy!
I'm telling you right now, that was one of the most graceful lifts I've ever seen on the racetrack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was. I mean, that anywhere else, that's you know, if he would have been just probably about 10 degrees more around, probably would have went for a ride.
Without a doubt. Well, speaking of going for a ride, we're going to take a break as these drivers take one lap and one more lap here around. I'm sure we're going to see some wholesale pit stops, but we're going to step aside right now and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel. He's Jordan Brockell, and this is Goat Locker Racing.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. INVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. INVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about INVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the
That's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. The pace truck is off. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell are in the booth. And off we go as Travis Bieber leads us back to green here from the Geico restart zone. And Bieber, in the 114 Valvoline machine, takes the green flag.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken here by timing and scoring, it doesn't seem that like him, Mark Cofield, and Jamie Libke did not come down pit road for any service whatsoever. So if we get another caution here, and late enough that maybe some of these guys are going to need to get a little bit of a top off, it could end up paying off for those guys and getting massive amounts of track position here.
Well, of course, one of my fellow countrymen from Ole, Pennsylvania is Bieber in the 114. He now drafts behind Mark Cofield.
You see George finds his way out to the outside and looking to reclaim that lead of his that he's been holding on to. And, I mean, what a strong run, in the past 2 weeks for him. Say 2 weeks like this is the second week here, but, I mean, this is a new week for these guys, and it'll be the second week for the ARCO series from Homestead tomorrow. But, to be running up front in consecutive Daytona races and lead from the pole, start from the pole for both of those races, I mean, he's got a great head of steam here as we kick off both of these seasons.
Yeah, the thing is, Travis Bieber found himself on the podium last week last Monday in opening night of the ARCA series. Now tonight, he's drafting just behind the 97. Now let's take a look here as we go on board with Bieber. Now you can see that he's actually not fully on the throttle. In fact, let's pull that up here in the lower right corner of your screen. Once he comes out of turn 2, we're going to see him back off the throttle just a hair. And he's still going to be running faster than Cofield as they come into turn number 3. 192, 193 coming in, 191. And he's still not at full throttle.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you're behind somebody like that, there is no real need to go full throttle. You just kind of feather it is. We've got caution on the racetrack here. Caution for the third time here tonight. Take a peek back
Look
here.
back here, and maybe around the 76, it sounded like there was trouble.
Oh, and that's trouble indeed as he gets a little bit of a bump there from the 17, slides up and
disappears
graciously
into
graciously taps that outside wall.
That's something that at least to me speaks a lot about these trucks. When you say graciously, I mean that's 1,000% accurate.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of other cars, when you touch that outside wall, I mean, you end up just kind of trying to knock that outside wall down. So, this truck is very gracious and forgiving in its way of making contact with anything other than the pavement.
Everybody back down to pit road or to pace speed here. I'm going to take a quick look at our race conditions. 81 degrees on the asphalt. There is more grip there than some 3M Velcro, as now it looks like Mark Cofield, Travis Bieber, Jamie Libke. Wow. You called this one almost perfectly. It looks like a good portion of the field, if not all of them, are going to come down pit road.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I was talking about is, Bieber and Cofield and you know, that's a perfect scenario. You know, you come down, get their service, find their way, you know, up front, and it's working. It's working its magic. You just see if he can get off pit road in time to really fully capitalize that. It looks like Mark Cofield's going to come off around 6th. Looking for the 114. Looks like he had a little bit longer of a stop there, about 15 seconds. He's going to be back in 14th, so it didn't work as well to his benefit than it did for you know, Mark Cofield here. And then Jamie Libke, I mean, he's able to keep up to the 2nd position here.
Brett Bieber, Jamie Libke, Andy Kurtz, Mike George, Michael McCarthy, Mark Cofield, Keith Haney, Jeremiah Holt, Jake Sylvia, Christopher Morse. That's going to be your top 10. Every time I say Michael McCarthy, all I can think of is the recently released Mike McCarthy. Well, not released, but simply non-renewed Mike McCarthy. And boy, am I happy.
You know, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I would love to see him still there. So Bieber going to have the pole, you know, have the top position right here, right now, with Mike George to his outside, and you know, I don't even know how far George has even really fallen. I think he stayed 1-2, maybe possibly fell to 3rd a time or two, but I mean he's hovered right there in that top 2 spot, pretty much all race long.
We'll thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, here on the YouTube.com live chat, looks like Nikki Valdez saying, Colton, this is your year. Let's go get it. Cliff Adams asking for the replay. We're, unfortunately, some of these drivers are blinking out almost as soon as they, and it mostly has to do with the fact that this is an enormous racetrack.
Yeah, enormous it is. I mean, it's just a bit smaller than Talladega to be the largest on the circuit.
2nd largest.
So, you know, 2nd largest, and it's definitely one of those you've got to visit it to really understand how large of a track it is. I mean, you know, on TV and everything like that, you know, you see it here on the sim, you're like, oh, it's a racetrack. I remember walking through into the stands for the first time. I wasn't there for a race, but I was there to do like a driver experience, and words cannot describe just how large the facility itself is.
You know, I have to agree with you there. My sister used to live as Andy Kurtz, another one of my fellow countrymen from Quakertown, PA, just up 476 from where I am here at Mid-County. But my sister used to live about 5 minutes down the road from the racetrack in a community down there, and just driving past the racetrack, you don't realize how big it is, even from the road. You know, you have to get into the parking lot and into the facility itself to look around. And I feel like every time it's just taken aback. As Brett Bieber hits the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and off we go in the 808, just ahead of Andy Kurtz in the 48. Mike George in tow. We're going to go on board with Mike George as they're going to get through those gears.
Yeah, the 808 had a massive push there with with the 48 of Andy Kurtz there, and I wonder if Kurtz just timed it to perfection to be right on the rear end of Bieber there, and Mike George just says, instead of fighting on this outside and possibly losing more, I'm just going to tuck in behind and ride along here just behind them.
Of course, now all of a sudden it just dropped this. That's fun. There it goes. Love that for us. As we take a look, there's Mike George, and up here in the corner, we can see many of these drivers the way that they are for the time. That's not Mike George in the upper right-hand corner, unless I'm really that lucky to find that one person. But as you can see these drivers, you know, working, each of them is really having to be in concert with the other. You know, there's a lot going on the racetrack, and you can see the absolute focus in their faces. It's not like there's somebody else in the room going, hey, would you like some mini pizzas? As they go 3 wide, deeper in the field, there's the 97 of Mark Cofield riding the middle, and my God, this can only be trouble. Watch the 20 washing up the racetrack. The 97 gets the run and takes it just in front of Travis Bieber in the 114 Valvoline machine, as Bieber's going to slide behind and hold position. Goodness gracious, that could have been close.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting really close to, you know, a major go time, and you see a lot of people make some really sketchy moves here, trying to set themselves up in the winning position, which, you know, you don't know where the winning position is until the flag falls. But you know, we're going to see a lot of these guys really try to make some moves. We got 3 wide again behind that, 17 of Lions on the outside, getting a full head of steam. And 12 washed up a little bit there. It's going to stall out just next to the 12, but, you know, at some point, people are going to see people making those moves and just go with them. As you see the 73 kind of puts his nose up there. We're going to,
here we go.
Oh, and that's going to be a big one.
And they collect just about everybody. And for the first time this race, nothing blinks. I'll be darned.
And that's what I was saying. Oh, and the 12 grabs the 4 there as he tries to squeak on by.
Let's go on board with the 12 right now as we head to the replay.
Oh. You know, for just a split moment, I thought we had it saved. I thought we got away from it, and you know, just everybody trying to, grabs that 4 again.
Let's see if we can see this maybe from Dave Sharon's point of view. And nope, Dave Sharon was the first one to disappear. He's the only one to disappear, really. Maybe the 34.
34, almost having a little bit of a blow
got
over there.
Right out of this one.
Yeah, Casey Jones even had a little bit of almost of a blowover, like we saw the 78 machine earlier tonight. Oh. See now, and that's going to change a lot of game plans for these guys up here. You know, maybe sitting with you know, probably around 10 to go once we get back to green flag racing. And it doesn't sound like a lot of time. I mean, it's still, you know, it's a 2+ mile track, so I mean, it's going to be a good bit of time.
And while these drivers get things, we've got the deke moves coming out. It's that time of the race. While these drivers get their act together and decide who's going to go where, we're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. When we come back, the possible finale here of the Goat Locker Racing Truck Series, brought to you by INVets, right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal. He's Jordan Brockell, and this is SRM.
thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. INVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. INVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about INVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. We're under the fourth caution of the night, and you know what? 4 cautions, Jordan, in these 48 laps, not bad at all if you think about it. I'm sorry, 40 laps, that is. Brett Bieber is going to take us back to green as the iRacing.com pace truck goes off with the lights. Jake Sylvia, Andy Kurtz, Jamie Libke, Mike George, Michael McCarthy, Maxwell Shade, Matthew Hott, Chance Taylor, and Mark Cofield going to be your top 10 as they all go Noah's Ark style, 2x2, please, to get on the Ark and get loaded up here for the end of this race.
Yeah, and the intensity is going to be through the freaking roof, to say the least. I mean, like I said, we're going to have about 10 laps to go, a 10-lap shootout, around 20 miles. So, I mean, it sounds crazy to say that it's not, or that it's a lot of time with 10 laps to go. But, I mean, it is a lot of time. A lot can happen in 2 miles. So, we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled throughout the entirety of this field to see who's making moves, who's getting dumped, and you know, where we're going to see those big runs from.
We do apologize that Brett Bieber is showing up as pro. That happened literally as we were going from qualifying into race. I would love to find out why. We'll have to do some research after the fact. Of course, we also want to thank our sponsors who keep us live and on the air every week. Of course, make sure to tune in for Jordan and I tomorrow night. And tonight, I did fail to mention that Mike George was our pole sitter, and he won the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Out of Plainfield, Indiana, they are local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed to printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus to organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, winning the Jam Printing and Promotions. Wow, I can speak tonight. Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award was Mike George tonight, so we apologize for missing that earlier, but do want to make sure that gets taken care of as Brett Bieber takes the green flag, brings along Andy Kurtz and Jake Sylvia. 1, 2, 3 they go as everybody else is back here in the Hornet's nest. Watch the 13 here. And the 80 of Kevin Price starting to draft up to Andrew Player. Andrew Player being
we got a car around in the back.
And we've got a car around in the back. Let's see who this is. I'm going to go with Alex McQueen. Wasn't Alex McQueen the name of the fancy shoes from that song by that girl?
That's real specific for me there. That's
yeah, you can tell I really know my music. Oh, good gravy. Nicki Minaj, Anaconda.
You got me on that one there, Dave.
That's all I know. I'll have to. I'm sure that it's nothing that I can say without violating my FCC license with the radio station.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of course, we want to thank our title sponsor tonight, INVets. They were founded by veterans for veterans and aid in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit right here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state to live, to that state to live and work. And we want to thank INVets for being our title sponsor for the Truck Series. And, you know, I know a lot of veterans who are looking for that transitional time, because, especially for those that have been in the service for, 10, 15, and 20 years, the Army, the Navy, the military, period, told them what to do and when to do it and where to do it. And, groups like INVets are really helpful for that transition back to civilian life. We also want to thank Redbeard Design Company out of Greenfield, Indiana. Do you see a theme here? Indiana. They are veteran-owned and operated. Redbeard Design Company is a brand design and creative agency out of Greenfield, Indiana. They do brand identity, illustration, advertisements, apparel, packaging, and posters. They have designed all of GLR's logos since day one. So when you see GLR anywhere, you see a Redbeard design. Of course, we also want to point out that we're here on iRacing.com. iRacing is the world's premier motorsports racing game, and iRacing membership provides entry into the newest form of motorsports, internet racing. Internet racing is fun, easy, and an inexpensive way for race fans and gamers alike to enjoy the thrill of the racetrack from the comfort of their own home. They're partnered with them and are allowed to, we are partnered here at GLR with iRacing and are allowed to utilize their logos. We have a Powered by iRacing logo. And, of course, you see that from time to time here on the broadcast. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on iRacing. And, the cars may be virtual and the track may be virtual, but the competition is absolutely real.
Oh, 110%. There's always somebody each and every week that, you want to be better than. And it's just, it tickles that fancy of, that competitive nature that 99.9% of us all have whenever we do anything. I know each and every week that, the guys with me and Operation 22 Racing, we sit there and we push each other further and further. And that's the bigger goal within each and every race that we do together is you want to be better. You want to be the best guy on the team. So there's the competition of everybody in the race with you, and then the competition of those of your friends and peers and acquaintances. So definitely gives you that good run of adrenaline to try to be the better guy.
Without a doubt, as the iRacing.com pace truck lights go out, it means we'll be getting ready to go back green flag racing once again. Everybody getting themselves loaded up here. And, I think that's something that people don't give enough credit to, and I think about it continually every time I do the read for iRacing, or every time we read the iRacing ads here on Sim Racing Media. I remember back during the days of my racing prowess when I was awful. And awful I was, but, I see here in the upper right-hand corner, of course, we've got video running tonight. We're going to work on that audio over the next couple of weeks. But one of the things is, you see drivers with gloves on. Some guys have full racing rigs, with, top-of-the-line equipment. Other people are sitting at a desk kind of like mine. But, the technology and the innovation that iRacing has brought to the forefront, I mean, we're seeing two very similar race setups, rig setups here. I mean, I think here on the bottom that looks like a traditional desk setup, but, obviously that wheel's got some force feedback in it to need the gloves there to hold on tight to. Good Lord. I remember the first time I ever used a direct drive wheel and I thought my arms were going to rip off.
And what's crazy is we've got even some people with motion platforms now. I saw a platform on there that was listed for $30,000.
Take my money.
We're going to roll into that Geico restart zone. He's going to fire off. He's going to pull the one machine of Jake Sylvia with him to see if they can clear those guys in the outside line. But they certainly aren't looking to sit in third place and roll around. They're going to try to fight for that outside. But if they get too far out from these guys behind, they're going to be steamrolled by this group right here behind them.
Yeah, the driver that I'm watching right now is Maxwell Shade in the Deuce. I mean, he's going to have himself a great head of steam when he gets up here to the rear of the 29. Oh, dear. And then has to check up. And that's not what you want to see.
No, certainly probably look to possibly go, but thought better of it. I mean, with 6 laps to go, you know, we talked about this being a 2-mile track. 6 laps to go, I mean, a little over 12 miles.
3 wide.
3 wide, a little further back. I mean, those guys are going to be a little bit more prone to go as we have caution on the track.
Everybody scrambles. I don't see where this might have been. Oh, okay. Just kidding. Maybe the 36 just trying to exercise the demons here.
It looks like I saw the 4 machine pop up and register as well for me.
Watch this go. Hey. You know, something that I'm seeing a lot here lately, at least in the iRacing.com servers, is the way that these trucks have been redesigned in the most recent scan. They're starting to really act like the real trucks. They're starting to act even more and more like the real trucks that we see, you know, every, you know, Friday, Saturday night.
Oh, to an absolute T on that one. And it's kind of funny because I remember how good I used to be in the truck because of how well accustomed I was to it, and then they did the update, and I was like, wow, this thing feels completely different, and it runs a lot more like it should to be a simulator, and I once again am not a good driver.
Buddy, that's why I finally hung the gloves up and decided to pull the microphone a little bit closer to my face.
Well, you see, I just got a brand new set of gloves, so I can't hang them up yet. You know, I just got them like a month or 2 ago, so I can't just hang them up yet.
You know, we were talking about motion platforms and things like that in different sim rigs. My very good friend and brother in Christ, Tony Burt, down in West Virginia, has a full-size ARCA car in his garage.
Now, sign me up. Like,
he's got triple curved monitors that go all around the cockpit. He built everything inside of it, and my God, it is the coolest thing in the world. Another good friend of mine that lives just over in Willow Grove, which is about 20 minutes away from here, John Bawalda, he has a quarter-sized race car. He's got the 48 car in his living room. His wife is so thrilled with him.
That's sign me up, though. I don't know if you've ever had the chance to possibly look up, I believe it's Boosted Media. They have a $100,000 plus rig, and if you ever see any of these videos for these guys, I mean, his rig is so on point that sometimes his videos come up and I think it's real. Like, I think it's some dude that's actually racing this car right now. I mean, he even does silly things as if, like, he just waves to the cars as he passes them. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's real. And then you realize, you start to look a little bit more into the foreground at his arms and realize the wheel isn't, you know, like a real car wheel. It's insane on the graphics that he has on this thing. But, I mean, it's $100,000, I would imagine.
Well, I think one of the things that always makes me chuckle to myself is we think about the graphics that we see right now, for instance, what you folks are seeing on your screens. And, you know, then I look back to the beginning of iRacing when it was on Papyrus, it was dial-up internet. You know, I'm here complaining about Fios tonight. and I'm complaining about my Fios perhaps being a little bit slow because of the weather. Once upon a time, you had to make a long-distance telephone call over copper wire to Boston to get on the server.
See, that's even before my time there, Dave. You're aging yourself there.
Well, we had dial-up. Now, this is going to trigger NASCAR overtime. This should be a natural NASCAR overtime. So what's going to happen is we're going to go green flag racing when they come back around. When the green flag flies, we're going to race around back to the white flag. If the caution should come out between the waving of the green flag and the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, once the white flag waves, we will race around back to checkers, and the next flag will end the race, whether that flag is yellow or checkered. So, of course, everybody right now sitting in their cars is hoping for one go at this. And Brett Bieber has got to be hoping to God that he can get himself around there and across the start-finish line and get that white flag up in the air.
Yeah, and it's going to be full go. There's going to be nobody that's going to hold up for anything. They're going to be full go. Nobody's thinking about second, third, fourth, fifth. Thinking about first. And, you know, it's we might have to do this and re-rack this again, but you know, I don't see anyone letting up in the slightest bit here over these next 2 laps.
The iRacing.com pace truck leads us out of turn number 4. He can see the entry to pit road. We're going to go on board here with Brett Bieber, also out of Ole. Brett Bieber drops the hammer and off we go. Hold on tight, folks, because this one's not over yet.
Certainly not anywhere near over. I mean, it's a ton of time. You see the one all over the 808. Shoving him way past the 48 there of Kurtz. I mean, he's going to be
Jake
glued
Sylvia
to the
here
rear
from
end.
Middletown, Rhode Island. We see the 48 of Andy Kurtz from Quakertown. They go 3 wide. They're going to wreck for the lead.
There goes Bieber. There goes Kurtz.
Oh, the humanity.
Oh, and there's a ton into that, and they're still wrecking. George is in it. I mean, I think it'd be easier to say who's not in this wreck right here. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, everybody's all go, no let up, no nothing. So, and I mean that you see that right there, and that's a key indicator right there.
Just trying to get timing and scoring went absolutely berserk for a darn good reason. But timing and scoring went berserk and paged through so many times. Let's see if we can get back to the replay here.
See the one shoving the 808. 48 gets a hook and sends the 808, and then once he goes back to the outside, it just collects everyone that's in that outside line, and everyone darting away, trying to find a place to go. And sometimes when you dive away, you find someone else is trying to drive on through. So
The 114 with a little crinkle dinkle.
I saw the 80 of Price, I'm sorry there. The 80 of Price missing a fender.
Chance Taylor out of New Bern, North Carolina. Running in 4th position right now. Maxwell Shade up 14 spots, running in 3rd. Jake Sylvia and Michael McCarthy lead the way here.
Yeah, so I mean, our entire front running order has completely shifted entirely. I mean, Sylvia, he's still hanging around there, but everybody else just kind of vanished rather quickly with the 48 becoming a truck roadblock there. That's going to be one of those things is now, you know, you're going to have those guys, you know, if they can get fixed up enough or didn't have a ton of damage, you're going to be pushing even harder than they already were, trying to get back up and salvage what they can. So, you know, patience is pretty much out of the window for any of these drivers, and it's just going to be gloves off and full send, not lift until you see, you know, the great Arca quote, not going to lift until I see God or a checkered flag.
Just doing a little bit of Facebook creeping here to see if I had any mutual friends with the Bieber boys. I do not.
I wonder if they're related to Justin.
No.
I've been waiting to make that kind
You
of
have a
joke.
better choice.
Just
You have a better chance at Carl Bieber. Remember the Carl Bieber buses?
I do not actually.
Bieber Bus Lines was a huge bus line out of Kutztown, Pennsylvania for, my God, like 40 or 45 years. Might have been 50. They used to have daily runs from Reading to New York, Reading to Philadelphia. You could go on tours with them. And then one day they just showed up and everything was closed.
Huh.
Like literally, like employees were coming in and it was like, hey, the doors are locked. They said, yeah, we know. Go home.
Ah.
Yes, American business.
That's I don't know what I would even do. I mean, I'd just be like, huh.
I think
You just that's all you can do is you just kind of, huh. Well then, you don't even say anything other than like you just make that noise and you walk away.
Yeah, I think I you know what? I have a closing thought on that, but real quick, it's going to be Jake Sylvia, Michael McCarthy, Maxwell Shade, Chance Taylor, Andrew Player, Mark Cofield, Thomas Parker, Travis Bieber, Big Duke, and Sean Pope McCarthy. That's going to be your top 10. And listen, when the green flag flies, it's anybody's race yet. We've got a lot of opportunity out here. You know, it literally could be somebody who's in 15th yet. If they get the right run and take the right moves, you can go from 15th to the lead in just 2 or 3 laps here at Daytona International Speedway. As a closing thought to the job market, I don't know if you know, but Big Lots, which is a retail chain here in the United States,
Yeah.
they're going out of business and closing most of their brick and mortar stores, if not all of them.
Which I didn't know any of them were still going.
Yeah, they are. There's one right across from where I work. And we were in there a couple of weeks ago, and all I could think of, first off, they had a sign when I walked in the door, now hiring, which I thought was a real insult. And the second thing was, can you imagine going to work every day knowing that as soon as they sell the last shred of something, you're out, you're done, goodbye?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know how to. I barely know how to function as it is. So you know, it's one of those things you just kind of say, huh. So, and I know some of these guys in that backfield that were just in that wreck, they're doing that same kind of thing going, but Jake Sylvia going to lead these guys back to green, going to enter that Geico restart zone, fire off, pulling Maxwell Shade with him. We're green flag racing here at Daytona.
Time is a ticking, but right now those motors are humming as those V8s roar into turn number 1. Jake Sylvia with Michael McCarthy in tow. Watch the high line, though. Chance Taylor starts to draw in just in the rear of the 3. That's Michael McCarthy in the Victory Brewing Toyota Tundra. As Michael McCarthy now runs here to the high side from Matamoros, Pennsylvania. Oh my, we're having some fun now. Watch the trouble that could be here at the 51. They've got to get, okay, oh, we're going to do it again. Wait, we stay green, we stay green, we stay green, we stay green. Staying green with 2 laps to go. Jake Sylvia.
Cofield.
Oh, no.
And there's the caution. Yeah, so Jake Sylvia finds his way through it still, but saw the 114 of Travis Bieber trying to make a 3rd lane on the outside, and everybody's shuffling around, and you know, ultimately it's what ultimately we're back here under caution again.
Big Duke is still showing as our race leader. I don't see.
No,
there he goes.
just
Now it
dropped
corrected
I
itself.
think timing and scoring is having a whale of a time tonight.
A whale? A whale?
Whale.
Like Cool Whip and wheat thins?
Not gonna lie, every time I say whale, I think of the Big Show's entrance. Well, it's the Big Show.
I was really afraid you were going to say something derogatory about me, but thanks.
Nah, the 7 foot tall, 500-pound, WWE wrestler.
I'm not going to lie, it feels like I pulled something in my back. I'm in cross-eyed amounts of pain right now. Jonathan Cofield, what's up with the flickering? We're having a connection issue right now. Unfortunately, I can't fix that on the fly. It's definitely not the GPU, definitely not the CPU. And I'm watching the latency pop up and down. Well, Jordan, a little bit like our ARCA race last week.
Yeah, we're gonna rack them up one more time. Gonna have these guys all squared away, ready to roll. And it's only gonna get more and more chaotic. I mean, a whole lot can happen in those 2 laps. And we've seen it on the 2 greenway checkers we've already tried to run. So with this next one, I mean, it's gonna be a tough one. I mean, there's still gonna be 23 cars. It looks like 23 cars on the lead lap, and honestly, that guy in that 23rd, 22nd position is just as much in the running to win as the guys that are sitting up here at 1 and 2 of Michael McCarthy and Jake Sylvia. It's about anywhere in this top 20, top 22 of this field can pull off a win here. I mean, if the C's part just right for that guy sitting back there to cruise on through the carnage, I mean, he can find his way to the front.
It's finally happened. It's me. I'm old, people. I had to get a blanket.
And I was sitting here thinking, and each time we do one of these greenway checkers, you're pacing. You don't have to really necessarily do any pit stops because you don't want to give up the track position. You already have enough to get to the end. You don't need tires, don't need fuel, and you just have to kind of sit here and pace around. We're cruising around 70 mile an hour after you were just doing 190. And that's just a recipe to build and build and build that tension of you just want to go. You just want to get running
absolutely.
and get going.
Oh, God, yeah.
Especially if you're one of the guys towards the back here, you're just like, I can see the front. I can smell him.
Speaking of smelling it, we can smell the pace truck dipping down pit road. McCarthy hits the restart zone, and off we go. A little bit of an accordion checkup back here deeper in the field.
Oh, it looks like the one of Sylvia dove down to the inside. A little bit different than what we've been seeing. Usually the leader of that outside row. Oh, Mike George.
Wow.
I don't know if he had help to move down there or if he moved down there on his own accord, but either way, it was sketchy.
Any sketchier and a police sketch artist would be drawing that. Good Lord. Uh-oh.
Sylvia going to push the 14.
There
goes the one.
There goes. Caution in the air. Now that puts Chance Taylor up here to the lead. And I'm not sure, but could that have been the final green-white checker attempt?
I believe it is. I'm looking here. 2 tries at it, and with the natural green-white checkered, and then these 2 tries, that should be the call, if I'm not mistaken.
Waiting to see if Chance Taylor is named the race winner tonight. Michael McCarthy, Andrew Player, Mike George, Brett Bieber, Maxwell Shade, Matthew Hott, Andy Kurtz, Mark Holofield, and Charles Albert. That's your top 10 for the time being. And it looks like we'll still get another run at another green-white checker as the iRacing.com pace truck lights are still on.
It's certainly hard to tell at this point in time.
Waiting to find out what happens here now that it looks like the 3 is going to go EOL. And
I still see just the yellow flag out there.
So we're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media one final time. As hopefully when we come back, the finale here at Daytona International Speedway. You're watching the INVets Truck Series on Goat Locker Racing, brought to you right here on Sim Racing Media.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. INVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. INVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about INVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where we finally look like this should be the last green-white checker. We were checking our notes during the break, and things may have been changed around here for the Truck Series. Our notes read 2 green-white checker attempts, and we are on the 3rd now.
Yeah, so this is the final chance for romance here for these guys here at Daytona. And it's going to be an interesting one here to see who makes it through. I'm just going to say who makes it through the carnage, because that's what we have to look forward to. It's who makes it through the carnage.
Yeah, we had a really clean race, with just a couple of cautions sprinkled in through the early laps, but now it seems like, well, perhaps not the same way, if you will. As we were supposed to be done at lap number 50, and we've now had enough caution laps here in the waning
Bonus
moments
racing.
here. Bonus racing, where we're going to be at lap number 60 when the green flag flies this final time.
And the way that it sits right now, if I had to throw money down, I'd put it right on that 808 on the outside line, in a amazing position. And you know, I mean, you can't count out Mike George down there on the bottom, but so truck makes that hard left turn off. Gonna set these guys free one final time. Chance Taylor gonna have control here. He's gonna fire off, pulling Mike George with him, and they're gonna get a big. I missed what number it was. Looks like the 20 machine of Matt Hott leaves the other two out there on their own.
Chance Taylor trying to hold off Mike George, your pole sitter, as they are bumping and banging coming through turn 1 and 2, getting ready to go down the back chute. Here's Chance Taylor leading the way, but to the outside. Here they come leading the charge as the 10th caution comes out. Kevin Price may be the culprit here. Watch the 80. Oi.
Oh, up and around he goes. And, hey, he's got his fender back.
And that will bring up our checkered flag of the evening. Chance Taylor going to be your race winner, with Mike George and Andrew Player in tow here on the podium. Maxwell Shade and Brett Bieber round out your top 5, while Matthew Hott, Andy Kurtz, Mark Hollifield Sr., Charles Albert, Colton Lanford, they're going to be your top 10 as New Bern, North Carolina's very own Chance Taylor brings home the checkered flag and is joined by Mike George and Andrew Player out of Concord, New Hampshire. Chance Taylor, your race winner, following the iRacing.com pace truck, which will make it official.
Yeah, don't pull Mark Martin and pull off the track.
Just a few, almost a dozen extra laps here to get it figured out and sorted out here.
Yeah, got to bring it all the way down, all the way down. Don't pull that Mark Martin and make that left turn on the pit road, and you know, job's not finished.
As we wait for our top 3 to come on in here. Looks like we've got some fireworks here on the backstretch. Looking for Mike George and Chance. Now we just need our race winner Chance to hop on in here. Chance Taylor coming down to celebrate at the start-finish line as we wait for Chance to hop on into the chat here. We'll do it 3, 2, 1 tonight. Jordan, you're going to lead off with Andrew Player, our third-place finisher.
Andrew Player, it's Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I got you. Thank you, guys.
Well, you guys go through a good handful of green-white checkers there to get to the end, but you finally get there about a dozen laps past the scheduled distance. And I think my biggest thing is how do you keep calm, pacing around, on green white checkers? You're not sure if it's going to be the last chance you get or not, but you just kind of keep yourself in that mindset. Like, how's that feel?
Well, Daytona, you know there's going to be wrecks. Even with like that 10, 15 to go, you knew guys are going to get aggressive. You knew they're going to try for it, and you knew the yellows are going to come out. So it's just a matter of trying to dodge them, avoid them when you can. Just try and be patient and hope that you're not part of it. Hope that luck's on your side.
Yeah, and certainly, like you said, luck is got to be on your side, and it gets you that third place finish tonight. And you know, when you run these races, you try to have some sort of strategy, and 9 times out of 10, I mean, I'd even say 9.9 times out of 10, that goes right out the window. But typically, like, what is your kind of strategy to tackle these kinds of things besides needing the luck?
I don't know if I have much strategy other than waiting for the luck.
I hear you.
I'm not going to lie. I was just hoping to be there at the end. I got, one of those cautions there. I got hit in the rear end, and fortunately, it just didn't come around on me. I'll say the other thing is just trying to save enough gas there to make it at the end, to be there at the finish and not be too far back and try and work your way back through the field. Luck really just broke my way tonight. There was a bunch of crash happening right in front of me, and I just managed to get through them unscathed. But I got to give Chance a huge shout out for that last restart, man. He totally he nailed me on that one. That was a great restart by him, and it was a heck of a finish and a good job for the win by Chance.
Absolutely. And so now you go from a track as massive and unpredictable as Daytona to somewhere a little bit just a wee bit smaller in Charlotte. And you kind of got to shift the mentality there. How's it work to go from massive track like Daytona down to something like Charlotte?
Charlotte's going to be a lot more about tire wear and managing the truck, so it's really kind of a nice skill set. But at the same token, it winds up turning into a wreck fest too. It's tight, it's narrow, it's fast, and I've been in a lot of league races there, and it gets close quarters. And next thing you know, it doesn't take much, and it's off to the races like it's off to the cautions like the last few laps here. It's another one that guys really just have to be kind of cautious around each other and give each other some space, and hopefully we can make it through.
Well, certainly going to be pulling for you, to see if you can carry this momentum on into Charlotte. Before we set you loose, there's got to be a group of people that help you get this done each and every week, and give them a little bit of love here.
I absolutely appreciate it. First and foremost, got to thank my family for letting me be on the sim rig. I've been on a lot this weekend with the 24 hours of Daytona last night. Came in P7 in my heat there, so pretty happy with that. Again on it tonight. So thanks to my family. Thanks to Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs for sponsoring this league. iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and of course for me, McConey Setup Shop. They've been sponsored for quite a while, so I appreciate everything they do for me. And of course, you guys and the league admins as well that make this work and put on such a great show for everyone.
Well, thank you for your time, and hopefully we catch you on the next one, brother.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Not a problem. Good night.
That, of course, the voice of our third place finisher, Andrew Player. Next up, I'm here with him on pit road. Hey, Mike, George, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Mike, listen, congrats on finishing P2 tonight. I know that you qualified, on the pole and got that pole award, but, how did you get through this piece tonight, and what could you have maybe done better to try to finish up in P1?
Oh, boy. I was trying to be patient the whole race, not to do anything, overly aggressive. And when that caution kind of came out towards the end there, it put me towards the back. So I was pretty much content with, my idea was I wasn't going to really finish, in the top 10. And then it was really the luck of the draw, how the cautions, came out. I was able to kind of miss some of them. But at the end there, the last caution, second to last caution, I got a little damage from that. So it was pretty tough to kind of give anybody any pushing or anything like that. But I saw an old teammate of mine there, Chance Taylor, and, got up behind him and was lucky to give him some kind of a push to get up to the lead there and, take the win under caution.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see a former teammate or someone that you're used to racing around or being around. You know how one another is. I mean, patience is you've got a lot of it at the beginning, but toward the end here, everybody seemed to be getting pretty chippy, at least from our perspective up here. Is that kind of what you experienced down there?
Yeah, it was. For a second there, the racing was going so good. I thought it was quite possibly could have, went green for the last few laps, but you kind of have to expect that being at super speedways. I get it. Everybody wants to get up there and, get a win or second or third. So everybody's pushing their hardest, and all in all, it was a great race. It was fun to be a part of it for sure.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, before we cut you loose and get you out of here, who do you need to thank and tip your cap to for helping to get it done on the 29 team tonight?
Yes, sir. Jam Printing and Promotions, broadcasters. Oh, I'm sorry, Alexander PCs, Premier iRacing setups, and INVent Truck Series. That's our Sunday series here, and appreciate you taking a second.
All right, brother. Congratulations. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, our race winner, Jordan. I believe that you're with Chance now.
Hey, Chance Taylor, it's Jordan up in the booth again, Gabby.
Yes, sir. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man. So, you win the championship for the fall champion for the fall season. No wins, but you start this season with a win. That's certainly got to be a pretty daggone good feeling.
It does. It takes a whole lot of pressure off. I can just go out the rest of the year and have some fun.
Absolutely. And you're sitting there, you're about to, take the green flag. You're in that number one position. What kind of, pressure is on you in that moment? Because, we watch these races in IRL. Usually the guy that's in first coming to the white flag is typically not the winner. So, starting in that number one spot, that's got to be a little nerve-wracking there.
Well, it definitely was, but I knew I had Mike behind me there, and me and him have always worked really well together at Super Speedway. So I knew I had to push her at least until the final turn. And once we got that restart, I had a good jump, and Mike just pushed me to the win there. So.
Absolutely, and you say that getting a win now takes a good bit of pressure off of you. So going into next week, places like Charlotte, do we see Chance Taylor taking a little bit more, maybe drastic measures in as far as strategy or moves, or you're racing with a different feeling?
I wouldn't say too drastic. I mean, I'm probably going to be a little bit more aggressive, but, I tend to keep to myself and try to stay clean until, the final 15, 20 laps. So not too much different, but just maybe a bit more aggressive.
Well, certainly it's going to be fun to watch you, run through the rest of this season, and make a run for, a back-to-back championship, fall champion, and then this season champion. So it's going to be fun to watch. And, before we send you on your way and get you headed on to Charlotte, is there anybody you got to shout out and thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, Operation Valor and Above the Yellow Line. I'd like to thank my wife and kids for putting up with me doing this. Last season it was 5 nights a week. This season I'm going to try to cut back. But also I'd like to thank League and Tech, Save 22, INVets, Indiana Department of Affairs. And that's all. Oh, and I'd like to thank Goat Locker Racing as well.
All right, brother. Well, maybe we can have a little bit of another conversation next week, maybe as a back-to-back winner. Who knows? But certainly hope to catch you on the next one, brother.
I appreciate it, Jordan. You guys have a good night.
You as well, brother.
See ya.
Well, Jordan, another one in the books here as we open up wow, I can talk real good. As we open up season number 2 here in the Goat Locker Truck Series, I got to be honest, man, after watching what we did tonight, these drivers had a heck of a time getting around this place and boogieing around the 2.5 miles of this super speedway in Florida, and it makes me really excited to see what happens next week when we go to Charlotte. Of course, home base for so many race teams, and of course, almost everything that we do here in this sport.
Oh yeah, Charlotte's one of those gem tracks. You know, the Coke 600, and it's like you said, the home track for a lot of these teams, and certainly I feel like everybody that I end up running into on this sim that's even running NASCAR has some kind of ties to the southern area of North Carolina, South Carolina. So technically a home race for a lot of those guys, even though every race could be considered a home race, being in your own home racing.
Without a doubt. Well, before we get out of here and focus on Charlotte, let's take one final look at our race results from this evening. Chance Taylor brings home the checkered flag and is followed on the podium by Mike George and Andrew Player. Maxwell Shade and Brett Bieber round out your top 5, while Matthew Hott, Andy Kurtz, Mark Hollifield Sr., Charles Albert, and Colton Lanford make up your top 10. Jamie Libke finishes in 11th with Jamie Perkins in 12th. Jake Sylvia in 13th with Mark Cofield. Michael McCarthy, Jeremiah Holt, Travis Bieber, Cameron Wessenberg, Alex McQueen, and Kevin Price make up your top 20. Lucas Lyons and James Kaufman come home 21st and 22nd, with David Sharon and Thomas Parker in 23rd and 24th. Ricky Six comes home in 25th, while Big Duke, Christopher Morse Jr., Sean Pope McCarthy, Dave Sharon, and Keith Haney make up your top 30. And the best of the rest is Brandon Wallace, Doug Ellison, Matt Knight, Scott Gilroy, Casey Jones, and Craig Bontrager, as he will be the one that finishes last tonight. And unfortunately, somebody has to do it. And tonight, Craig, it was you, as we get ready to head on to Charlotte. So for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockel, we will be the voice going forward here this season in the INVets Truck Series right here on Goat Locker Racing and Sim Racing Media. We want to thank all of you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening by welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be, and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.